What is going on, everybody? Happy Halloween. This video, you can tell by the title, you clicked on it for a reason, I guess. I'm looking at my top 100 horror movies, baby. Let's freaking go. Rapid fire through a bunch of them, then, some of the more important ones I'll get into more detail. But it's my opinion, my top 100. Let me know your top 5, top 10. Hell, if you want to put your whole top 100 in the comments, be my guest. But let's kick it off with number 100. We have Jigsaw. One of the later entries into the Saw series. It's okay. The twist at the end is pretty cool, but also kind of a bit of a stretch. But I thought it was neat. A really simple Saw movie, but the ending just really got to me. Number 99, we have The Suckling. Very low budget, but it's so damn good. I have a full recap and review of it on my channel. Go check it out. Abortion goes wrong, and a big monster attacks people. It's really stupid. Number 98, we have The Ruins, another movie I recapped and reviewed on this channel. I went into it not really knowing much. I thought it was going to be basic, but I ended up really liking it, and I think it's worth a watch. The environment, the way it looks, it's not the greatest by any means. That's why it's at 98, but I thought it was really good. Number 97, we have House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm not a fan of Rob Zombie's style, but this movie was just wacky and kind of weird, but it got to me a little bit. I kind of really enjoyed it. The last 10 minutes or so with Dr. Satan and the Professor, I think is the name of that weird miner-looking dude. Just nuts. I don't know. It was so crazy. I loved it. Number 96, we have Leatherface, 2017 origin story of Leatherface. I thought they did a good job. Most people I've heard didn't really care for it. I've seen it like so many times because it comes on TV all the damn time. I find myself enjoying it a little bit. It's a bit violent and kind of grimy in some aspects, but I've always really enjoyed it every time I've seen it. Number 95, we have X. A lot of people praise this movie, and it is a good movie. Nice little throwback. But it just felt really overhyped. Like, I think it is a good movie, but my expectations were really high because I've heard nothing but good things about it. I watched it, and it's good. It's good. It was just average. It's 95. It made it in the top 100. Number 94, we have The Wretched. I watched this movie because I was looking at top 10 horror movies on Netflix. I threw this in the pile of movies I was going to watch. I watched it, and you know what? It surprised me. I thought it was going to be basic, mid, but a lot of witch doing witchy things, and it turned out being pretty good and enjoyable. Number 93, we have Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. They did a great job of making the monsters from the book come to life. The Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark books that you would get as a kid at the library. I really enjoyed them. I think this movie did a great job of what it set out to do. Props. I think some of the monsters look really cool. For a PG horror movie, I think, it has some spooky moments, and I really think they did a good job. Number 92, we have Mother's Day in 2010. This is like a hidden gem. I don't think I've ever heard a single soul talk about this movie, but it's like smart, funny, and I haven't seen it since I first watched it, but something about it just, I've not fell in love, but I really, really enjoyed the movie. I don't know, it just all gels together nicely, and I like it. Number 91, we have It Chapter 2. The movie itself, I love Pennywise. I love all the, the cast of losers grown up. I think they do a great job. It is a bit long. The ending is just what really throws it off, man. It feels too long to get to that ending that is not very good, where the clown just deflates, and it's like, yeah, I get it. They defeat him by making him feel small or whatever the hell, and they're not afraid of him, but just, dude, sitting through like 2 hours to get to that ending, I didn't care for it. Number 90, we have Saw 3. I really love all the stuff with John Kramer, Amanda, and Lynn, but then you have the game side of things where you have Jeff, who's just, he's not very likable. I don't care for him. So it's a really 50-50 split movie for me, but I do think it's still fine. Number 89, we have Stephen King's Thinner. It was randomly at 4 a.m. I couldn't sleep. This movie was just about to start. I said, screw it. Let's watch it. And it's not half bad. Some of the effects are really cool. The story is just kind of like wacky, like the adventure our main character goes on. And the ending, kind of, I wasn't a big fan of because of like, I don't want to really spoil anything, but it involves pie. That's all I'll say.
Mm-hmm. Bye, I love you.
Oh my God, what have I done?
And it's weird, but it's kind of funny. Number 88, we have It Follows, another movie that has high praise, and I loved it the first time I watched it, but a couple years later, I watched it again. For some reason, wasn't as into it. I don't know why. I have no explanation for why. I just felt like it was average, when beforehand I was like, wow, this is really good. It's an interesting concept, and I think it excels at what it tries to do. The The feeling wasn't there the second time. I still think it's really good though. I'm not, it is in the top 100, so I still like it, obviously. Number 87, we have another popular movie. We got Hereditary. I wouldn't say it's overhyped. I do think it is worth the hype that people, clamor about. I wouldn't say it's the greatest horror movie of all time. It's very sad. I'm not a big fan of, the sad death horror movies and, grim looking. I guess I don't really know how to describe it, but I thought it was really good. It's just not a movie I could watch over and over again, and rewatch value is a big aspect into what I like about movies. I like movies that I can rewatch. This is not one of them, but it is still really good. Number 86, we have Incident at Ghostland. Speaking of movies I can't really rewatch because they're kind of sad, this movie, I feel bad for our two main girls that are being tormented by these two fucking just whack jobs. It made me slightly, uneasy at some points, but I thought the story was good. I thought it was well made. It's a fun ride, but it's also not a fun ride at all. Number 85, we have Escape Room. It's like an upgraded Saw, you got all these people going through traps, but they're escape rooms. Who doesn't love a good escape room? All the rooms that our characters go through are designed very cool, especially in the upside down and sideways room with the pool table and hanging onto the telephone cord. Really love the look of this movie. Story-wise, it's fine. It's just a look of this movie that is really cool, and I love all the escape rooms and all the little traps. Number 84, we have Orphan. Came out in 2009. I love my movies with some twists, and this movie has a twist. I'm not gonna really get into it, but I kind of have to, because that's the whole point of why I like the movie, is the big twist. So spoiler, Orphan, not really an orphan. Esther is just kind of has a disease where she looks like a younger person, fucks with his family. It's really cool. The only thing I don't like is, even though she isn't actually a kid, her kind of hitting on the dad, and the dad drunkenly is kind of sort of approaching it. It's I don't even want to think about it. It's not, I don't like it, but it's a good movie. Vera Farmiga's in it. I love her. Yeah, I don't know. Just that one part just sticks out to me. Number 83, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. It's a classic. I watched it again for the first time in a while. The first time I watched it, fun fact, I didn't like it. The second time around, I watched it a couple of weeks ago. I liked it. I thought it was good. I don't know why I didn't like it. I guess it just didn't really stick with me. Now it has, and I do appreciate it. It's just the feeling I get while watching the movie. I'm not, it makes me a bit uncomfortable with some how sticky it feels. That's just the word I use for it. Very hot and sticky. That's the energy of this movie, but it fits the story, so good on them. Number 82, we have Halloween Kills. Yep, Halloween Kills, the sequel of the newest trilogy. It is very simple. Michael Myers goes around killing people. There's really not a huge story behind it other than mob mentality is bad. Evil will die tonight, yada yada. I just like Michael going on a killing spree. It's fun, Michael doing Michael things. Number 81, we have Bad Milo. Another movie that I have recapped and reviewed on the channel. The premise is really stupid. Alien-ass creature comes out of man's ass, goes on a killing spree, goes back in his ass, and he's like, dude, this thing is inside of me, and it's coming out of my ass. Number 80, another kind of stupid movie, we have Cocaine Bear. I watched this with some friends in theaters, so that experience alone was just fun. It made me like it a bit more. Also, there's some nice violence and gore in it, and it's, it's just, I don't know, it's like a borderline comfort movie. I can just throw it on, watch it, silly smile on my face. Can't go wrong with it. Number 79, we have Sinister. Very good movie. The only thing holding it back is I'm not a fan of jump scares. Yes, I like horror movies, but jump scares, I hate the feeling of knowing something's coming and then just that startled feeling, when your body jolts a little bit. I hate that. I love scary stuff, but I don't like that feeling. I don't know if that makes any sense being a horror movie fan, but Sinister is very good. There's some really creepy visuals, genuinely startling scares. Obviously, I think the big notable thing from the movie is the lawnmower scene. I like the story. It's just all the jump scares, man. I'm sorry, if I was more into that kind of thing and I was more inviting towards jump scares, this would probably be top 50. It is one of the scarier movies I've seen. Number 78, we have Friday the 13th Part 2. I'm not a big fan of the original Friday the 13th, so Friday the 13th Part 2 kind of fills that void of oh yeah, this is the first Friday movie for me. I know the original is the original and the first, yeah, but for me, this feels like the best way to kick off the Friday franchise. It's still kind of on the basic side of things, but I just, as a Friday the 13th movie, I think it's really good, and it is just very solid. Number 77, we have Frozen. I believe this was probably within the first 5 horror movies I ever watched. I was really young. 3 homies, they go up on a ski lift, they're gonna go skiing, but it's nighttime, and they kind of squeeze in to be the last people to ride up. The ski resort closes down. They're stuck up there for 5 days. I saw it before, and I watched it for the first time in years, just knowing the point where they're about to go up for that last time and get stuck, my heart and my gut sink to my ass. I'm telling you, just the feeling this movie gives me. Number 76, we have Renfield, a newer movie, came out in 2023. Nick Cage is Dracula. Hell yeah. Nicholas Hoult does a great job at playing Renfield. He doesn't want to serve Dracula. He wants to be a nice dude. He doesn't want to do all this evil killing stuff. A lot of body parts getting chopped off and flying around. A lot of blood. Very cool. Has some funny moments. The only thing that kind of drags it down for me is Awkwafina. And yeah, she's a comedian, kind of, I think. I'm not sure what she is. I don't know. Her whole character is like, oh, I'm going through this rough time, but I'm going to crack jokes every 4 seconds. It's like, I don't know. Half of her stuff lands, half of it doesn't. But she doesn't ruin it. It's just kind of the bummer note of this movie. I still think she does okay. Number 75, we got Cult of Chucky. It's just kind of silly.
I never felt so alive! Yeah, well, you've been alive for like 2 minutes.
You got 3 good guy dolls in a mental facility, kind of terrorizing the patients and creating chaos. I love it. I love when they interact with one another.
I've been through a lot today. You got to suck titty today. Look what happened to me. Hello? Look at my hair. Oh, shit, you win. Absolutely. Sorry, pal, you go fuck them up real good.
We get Nika back again. She first appeared in Curse of Chucky, and I really like her as our new protagonist in the Chucky series. Cult of Chucky was just really fun. Number 74, we have Hellraiser. It's a movie I like more and more every time I've seen it. The effects are cool. Kirsty's a great protagonist, great final girl. We don't talk about her enough. Back to the effects. Frank becoming human again in that like attic type room or whatever it is. It looks so cool. Number 73, we have Final Destination 2. I think it's a bit wackier than the first Final Destination. Not as good movie-wise and quality-wise, but I think it's really fun. A lot of fun deaths. The fence post cutting that guy in little pieces. And the main thing, holy shit, that traffic jam, it's iconic. Every time you're in traffic or you're on the road and you see one of those big trucks holding logs, you're like, oh no, I don't want to be here anymore. Also, kid gets crushed by a giant pane of glass. What more could you want? That was fantastic, dude. I shouldn't be smiling. I think that's kind of fucked up. Anyway, moving on. Number 72, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. This feels like the bastard child of the Freddy Krueger franchise, Nightmare on Elm Street. It doesn't feature Nancy, nor a super goofy Freddy doing super goofy things. It's kind of its own separate movie, but it really works. It's really good. I love Freddy trying to use this kid to come into the real world. And he's just kind of a dickhead, you know, but also you get the "You're All My Children Now" scene, which is awesome. I love it. I think Freddy's Revenge, solid, probably top 3 or 4 Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Number 71, we have The Blair Witch Project, the most iconic found footage movie out there, I can almost guarantee. I've only seen it once and it's been a while, but it just feels so real. I know during like promotional stuff, they were trying to make it feel real. And even to this day, watching it, you're like, oh, damn, this probably actually happened, didn't it? You kind of get that feeling from it. Also, some of the stories I hear about of how this movie was made sound really fun and also kind of terrifying, but I don't know. I just love the story around this movie. Number 70, we have The Collector. We got Home Alone meets Saw. I know that comparison has been made before, but that's the perfect way to describe it. The house with all the traps and all the death. And Arkin is one of my favorite horror movie protagonists. Very good movie. Number 69, we have Curse of Chucky. Brought it up earlier. Nika, love her. This Chucky movie feels like a murder mystery. You know, we got a gothic type mansion house. Bunch of people enter in and they're getting killed off one by one. I don't know, I like the style. It feels different from the first 3 Child's Plays and then also Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. This was like another big change in the franchise, but it works really well and I love it. Number 68, we have a very recent one. Just watched it a couple nights ago. We have Five Nights at Freddy's. It wasn't really that much of a horror movie, but I really did enjoy it. I love all the animatronics, spoiler, because it's still pretty new. Kind of hanging out and vibing. They were building a fort at one point. What the hell? That was not what I was expecting. As much as I thought it could have been improved in some aspects, mainly the horror part of it, I thought it was a very fun and enjoyable movie. I had a good time watching it. Number 67, we have The Black Phone. Ethan Hawke as the grabber dude. Holy hell, man. He puts in a performance. His mask is cool. The interchangeable little mouthpieces. It's just, I don't know, the look of him is really cool. Not to mention the story itself is also very fun to follow. And I heard it's getting a sequel, which it's a good movie, so cool, but also why a sequel? It doesn't need it, but whatever. Number 66, we have Army of the Dead. I believe I made this my top horror movie on Netflix in that like top 10 video. Batista's in it, fun cast of characters. like a bank robbery heist thing, but in a zombie apocalypse setting. There's even a zombie tiger. It's just a lot of fun. Number 65, we have the original Evil Dead. Now, the reason it's kind of low is because I prefer Evil Dead 2, and it recaps the first Evil Dead, so that's why the first Evil Dead is a bit low, but this is still really good, very campy. So while it is low, just know I still think it is a very, very good movie. Number 64, we have Little Shop of Horrors, a horror musical, fun characters. Rick Moranis is awesome, I love that guy. And it's a killer potted plant, bro. What more could you want? Also, the songs, they're all kind of bops. Number 63, we have The Silence of the Lambs. It took me a while to get around to watching this one. I just watched it fairly recently, like earlier this year. I can't believe I waited so long to see it. It has such a good story. All the stuff with Hannibal, then crossing back to like the actual like crime that's happening and all the kidnappings. Also, Leland Stottlemyre from Monk is in this, and he's like the main bad guy criminal, besides Hannibal, obviously. But it's just seeing someone from Monk, one of my favorite shows, in this movie in that role was just really funny to me. Number 62, we have the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yep, the reboot. It's above the original because it kind of just improves on everything. It still has that grimy feel to it, which I call the other one Hot and Sticky. The early scene with the hitchhiker and the gunshot and the camera going through the hole in the head, that shot alone puts it above the original Texas Chainsaw. Hate me for that take, but damn, it's so cool. Number 61, we have Scream 3. A lot of people don't care for Scream 3. I really enjoy it. The idea of them filming Stab 3, the parody movie in the franchise, and the original cast characters kind of like being there with their doubles, if that makes any sense. I think it's interesting. It's not super great or anything, but I love the Scream franchise, so of course it's going to be a bit high on my list regardless of how silly it can be with the voice changer stuff and killing off Cotton at the very start. And I'm not the biggest fan of the killer reveal. I still think it's okay, but definitely one of the weaker killer reveals in the Scream series. Number 60, we have You're Next. It's a nice home invasion type movie. We have a dinner party going on and some criminals are busting in and killing people. We see the reveal of who the criminals are and who they're working with. I think that was a really cool twist. Also, our main lady is kicking ass and even like killing a dude with the blender. Cool shit. It's just really fun, really well done. Number 59, we have The Hunt. It's a great journey. Crystal, our main character, is an absolute badass from start to finish. It is a bit more political, and I don't really care for that, but it is still a very fun movie. Number 58, we have Day Shift. Jamie Foxx killing vampires, making money. Dave Franco pissing his pants, being funny. Hell yeah, this movie rocks. Also, Snoop Dogg's in it. He's got a machine gun. They're all killing very flexible, agile, awesome vampires. It's just a lot of fun. I'd say it's more action than horror, but I still think the vampires are creepy enough for it to classify as a horror movie, so yeah. Number 57, we have Old. M. Night Shyamalan did really good with this one. A lot of reviews were like, this is not very good. I don't see what the problem is with this movie. I watched it, I threw it on in the background, thinking it wasn't going to be good, but it hooked me from start to finish. I had a great time watching it, and that's what I want out of a movie. It gave me everything I needed. Number 56, we have Tremors. I haven't seen it in so long, but again, one of the earlier movies I saw in the horror genre. Reba McEntire, I love her, and she is in a horror movie. You know, single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. She's in this freaking horror movie. I'm like, whatever, she fits, she kicks ass. Also, Kevin Bacon's in it, he kicks ass. It's just a nice movie. A giant killer worm is terrorizing a small town in the middle of nowhere. What more could you want? Number 55, we have The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. While it is still an okay movie, it's definitely the weaker of the 3 Conjuring movies. I love Ed and Lorraine Warren, so whatever adventure they have, they could be doing a freaking comedy movie or a drama, and I would still follow them to the depths of hell because I love them. They're a great couple. But yeah, I'm not a fan of all the witchcraft stuff. I want paranormal and like possession things, not, oh, they put spooky totem by my house and now I'm fucked. It's still good, but it's just not what I want out of a Conjuring movie. But it's still at number 55 in the top 100, so that tells you it's still good. Number 54, we got Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. It's considered horror on Letterboxd, which is where I've like made this list, so it goes on the list. It's a Scooby-Doo movie. The gang is trying to figure out what the hell's going on. We got zombies and all this crap going down. Very fun. There's also some voodoo things involved. Okay, were there werewolves? I swear there were werewolves. Were there not? Mark Hamill's in it. I think he's a werewolf. Yeah, he's a werecat. Oh, that's what they're actually called, werecats. Oh, shit. Okay. But it's a really fun movie, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's Scooby-Doo. How could you not enjoy it? Number 53, we have The Strangers Pray at Night. I prefer the second Strangers over the first one, even though the first one, creepy home invasion, still is good. But the second one, they got more to play around with. We're at an RV trailer park kind of thing. and I really enjoy the family that we follow, so it makes it really sad when they're being attacked and you're like, oh god, please don't kill them. Also, there's that pool scene, which is shot wonderfully. As a standalone movie, without knowing any backstory about the guys in the masks, you know, it's good. Number 52, we got Smile. It looked really weird from the trailers. It was kind of giving me Truth or Dare vibes, but it isn't like a forced smile or like cringy smile. It's actually kind of creepy. It has some pretty good scares in it. The ending is really the only thing that kind of puts it a little lower on the list, but I'm still fine with it. The little smile demon thing at the end was very weird looking, but I wasn't not a fan of it. It's just, I don't know. I didn't get what I wanted, but at the same time, I got what I wanted, if that makes sense. Number 51, we got Zombieland Double Tap. I love the first Zombieland. That'll show up later in this list. And I waited like, what, 10 years or so for this one to come out, and I was not disappointed. It's a lot of fun. The Zombieland movies are always a lot of fun. Also, their doppelganger scene where they get turned into zombies, and it's like that one shot, kind of like going around Elvis's hotel area, that fight scene. Very fun.
How you doing now? Still bad! You wanna switch? Switch? How would that benefit me?
It's just so cool. And there's a monster truck running over zombies. It's badass. Number 50, we got Saw 5. It has the perfect outline for a Saw movie. We got good game stuff and good person running the game, storyline stuff as well. You know, we got Detective Strom going after Hoffman. Then we have the game itself where, you know, it's not really extreme like other Saw traps, but it is a fun, interesting game to follow. And then spoiler, right here. At the end, we could have seen all the people in the Saw trap could have survived together if they just worked together. So that's really cool. You don't really get to see that many options in Saw traps. Usually it's either you die or you make it out with a lot of scratches. It's in the middle of the franchise, and it is solid. Number 49, we got Orphan First Kill. I liked it more than the first movie because this one also has a twist. Even though we know the twist from the prior movie, I don't know, it gives me more than what I thought I would get. I thought I would enjoy it, but it gave me a twist on the twist, and I loved it. Number 48, we got Bride of Chucky. It's very goofy, but it doesn't go overboard like Seed of Chucky, which I did not really care for that. And I think it's probably my favorite Chucky movie. We get the introduction of Tiffany.
Here I am slaving away over a hot stove, making cookies, making Swedish meatballs, and for what? Take it from me, honey. Plastic is no substitute for a nice hunk of wood.
Jennifer Tilly is amazing. Also, shout out, we got John Ritter in there as well, and I love that man. Rest in peace. It's a very fun movie. I watched it yesterday just to, you know, reassure myself, do I still really like it? And it's a lot of fun. Number 47, we have Hush. We have another home invasion movie, and this time it's a deaf woman who is very capable of defending herself, although she is scared, but she is smart. And there's a guy trying to get into her house, kind of toying with her, and it's a really, like, kind of even fight, surprisingly. It's just a really well done movie. It's interesting. It's a twist on the home invasion typical movie layout. I got everything I wanted out of this movie, and that's the thing I say a lot during this list. But if I get what I wanted and more, 2 thumbs up from me. Number 46, we got Annabelle Comes Home. We got 3 girls in a house, and the Warrens' room of creepiness is fucking with them. It's fun. It's just, it's a lot of fun. Number 45, we got Freddy vs. Jason. It's not a very good movie story and, like, character-wise, but Freddy and Jason, they do their job, man. The reason why it's higher up, even though I just said it's not really a good movie, it's because I just love Freddy and Jason beating the shit out of each other. It carries that movie to another level. I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, this movie sucks. I mean, it's okay, but it's not, you know, top 50 worthy. For me, it is. Number 44, we got Scream 2. It's a really good Scream movie. We got some more characters thrown in there. And it's not going to beat the first Scream movie by any means, but it does a good job of still, you know, not totally copying everything, just being kind of its own thing and still being really good. The killer reveals are interesting. Not bad, but also not great. The only thing that tanks it a few spots lower is because the damn cafeteria sing-along bullshit, or whatever the hell it is, that scene haunts me. When I think of Scream 2, I think of that scene first, and I hate that because Scream 2 is pretty good.
Stick around and love you, do you think I have taste? Let me ask you to your face, do you really love me?
But that scene, dude. Goddamn. 43, we have Saw X. I saw it in theaters the day after it came out. really fun. We got to see a lot of John Kramer and Amanda, which I love those two, so awesome. The traps were really cool. One of the traps is a dude having to try to do brain surgery on himself. Holy crap. I think that's like one of the most extreme Saw traps, like holy fuck. The way it's set up, it tries to get you to root for John Kramer, which you know what kind of guy he is, but hell, I'll root for John Kramer. I love him. Tobin Bell's awesome. It took me a while to figure out how I actually felt about the movie, but after some time has passed, I realized it is one of the better Saw movies. 42, we got Final Destination, the first one. I think 2 and 3 are a bit more exciting, but this one is just really well put together. I think it is just solid. I can watch it over and over again. It's almost like really simple, but it does so well at being simple. Number 41, we got Last Night in Soho. This movie is very beautiful. It looks amazing. It does a great job of world building, which, you know, it kind of runs a little longer than some of the other movies on this list, going towards 2 hours, but Thomas and Mackenzie is fantastic. The mystery this movie tries to dive into is very interesting as well. Even though like halfway you kind of see where it's headed, it still knocks it out of the park for me. I really enjoyed it. Number 40, we got Halloween 2018. One of the first horror movies I saw in theaters after getting like really into the horror genre. The Halloween franchise itself, I'm not the biggest fan of. It kind of gets a little wacky, but Halloween 2018 is very good, you know, Laurie Strode being kick-ass, kind of like a survivalist. And we get her daughter and her granddaughter, which are nice additions to the franchise. It jumps straight from the first Halloween all the way to present day, and I think it does a really good job of the direction it's going in. I just wish the second movie and the third movie in that newest trilogy were a bit better. Number 39, we have A Quiet Place. It has cemented itself in horror movie history. It's such an interesting premise, and it excels at that premise. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are in it. John Krasinski is one of my favorite actors, and he directed the damn thing. He did a fucking great job. The big creatures roaming around look pretty interesting and kind of cool. They rely on sound, so every noise a character makes is like, oh god, are we gonna see a creature? Everybody shut the fuck up and be quiet. It's so good. And of course, I can't not mention Little Bo. That scene, holy hell, when he's playing with the little airplane. Damn, what a brutal scene, but it's just so well done. Number 38, we got Jason X. Very goofy, very dumb, but I freaking love it. A lot of the Friday the 13th movies kind of blend together, but this definitely stands out. Jason Voorhees in space, man. You can't go wrong. We get the liquid nitrogen kill, which is an all-timer, not just for the Friday series, but just in kills and movies in general. What a sick fucking kill.
At number 37, we have Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
We got the Nightmare on Elm Street movies appearing in the real world into Heather Langenkamp's real life. I love all the characters just being themselves, like the actors like Robert Englund, John Saxon, Wes Craven is there, he's just hanging out, and Heather Langenkamp has to play Nancy again, and it's just a cool story. It was a really good change of pace for the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise because it got a little bit too silly, but this movie, huge shift, but it works so well. Number 36, we have the first Saw movie. It's pretty much a classic at this point, man. Iconic bathroom and the chains around the ankles of Adam and Lawrence. Other Saw movies, they try to do a bit too much. Some nail it, some really don't. But this is kind of simple, but still has enough Saw elements, like the twist. You know, John Kramer getting up from the bathroom floor after we thought he was fucking just a dead body the whole time. It kicks off the franchise that becomes a bit silly and wacky, but also is a very, very solid start. Number 35, we got Final Destination 3. I think it's my favorite Final Destination only because, one, I've probably seen it the most out of all 5 movies, and 2, a lot more memorable kills. Billboard falling on a dude, nail gun has stuck with me quite a bit. Also, the roller coaster opening, it's wild. And obviously, we can't forget about the tanning beds and the shot where it goes from them burning in the 2 tanning beds to the 2 coffins. Very, very dark and funny. But really, depending on how I'm feeling a certain day of the week, you know, Final Destination 1, 2, and 3, they could probably top each other. I don't know. Final Destination 3 just currently is the one I think is the best. Number 34, we got The Collection. It's a sequel to The Collector. It expands on the cool traps in the house. Now we got a full-on building full of traps. We got Arkin returning to go on a rescue mission. We have some pretty neat kills in this one, and I think it's just a fun ride from start to finish. Number 33, we got I Am Legend, Will Smith. He has his dog Max with him. It's a really fun movie, but also it can be really emotional. Will Smith, you know, feeling like he's the last guy out there. You kind of feel for the guy. I think this movie hits every beat it wants to hit, like, perfectly. and it's more sci-fi than horror, but I think I can call it a horror movie. Number 32, we got The Cabin in the Woods. It's a really fun movie and it has a lot to offer. It's a very interesting movie. It really dives into horror tropes, and it's like an experiment at the same time. It goes for something interesting and it succeeds. Also, Bradley Whitford's in it. And I love Bradley Whitford. He's really funny. Number 31, we have The Night House. It's a movie, once again, I have reviewed and recapped on my channel. It is a very good movie. While it can feel a bit slow at times, there's still enough happening that makes me enjoy following Beth and the mystery behind what is up with her deceased husband. The whole note that he left her after his suicide, where nothing is after you, and it's true, nothing is after her. That section of the movie right there, it's stored in my brain. Nothing is after you. Holy shit. I don't even know what to call it. It's just so cool. Number 30, we have The Descent. The cave setting is really cool, and it's almost just as scary as the cave dwellers inside of it. We get a good group of friends getting lost in a cave. That whole scenario right there could be a movie in itself and could still be pretty scary. But then you add in the creatures in that cave and it makes for a really good movie with some shifts in tone and character changes. Hell, I could call it a 5-star movie. I'm not too high on it like some others, but I still think it's really freaking good. Number 29, we have The Conjuring. I got really no complaints. The first time I watched it, I thought it was good. A couple years went by, I was like, oh yeah, it's probably the weaker of the Conjuring movies, but I watched it a couple times recently, and you know what? It's really grown on me. I love Ed and Lorraine Warren, obviously, like I've said, and we have the clap game in this one. It makes for some pretty good scares. A really good starting point for the Conjuring universe. Number 28, we have the 2006 remake of The Hills Have Eyes. This movie was thrown on randomly when I spent the night at a friend's house, and I don't know, this movie just really got to me. I really enjoyed it. We got the nasty looking, I guess, mutants, but in the end, we get the remaining survivors of the attack, taking out the big mutants, and yeah, you love to see it. Number 27, we have Megan. Megan is a really fun movie. This movie does everything it sets out to do. The relationship between Megan and Sadie is just really good, because Megan goes from this nice friend to this very scary, overprotective monster.
Are you listening to me, Brandon? Megan?
Megan rocks. It's a fun movie. I can't wait for the sequel. Whenever it comes out, I'll be there for it. Number 26, we have Evil Dead Rise. Now, this movie, it didn't stick with me as much as I thought it would. I was hyping myself up big time for this movie. I watched it and I was like, oh, that was really good, but it didn't reach the level I wanted to. Otherwise, it would probably be a smidge higher on this list. But all that aside, it was still very, very good, very creepy. Alyssa Sutherland, her as a deadite, tormenting her fucking family. Holy hell.
Mommy's with the maggots now.
Also, the little mini killing spree she goes on in the middle of the movie. Very fun, really creepy and violent. Everything about this movie works. Number 25, we got The Menu. It is pretty much a comfort movie for me. I can throw this thing on whenever I want, and I will enjoy myself. The characters are cool. Every table the restaurant goers are sitting at has its own story with the characters there. Chef Slowick is menacing, but he has some charm to him.
Good evening.
And I just love the story and everything coming together, kind of swirling around with one another. Anya Taylor-Joy kicks ass in this movie. Also, we have John Leguizamo, who's, I didn't expect to see him in this movie, and he's great as well. He's funny. And then Nicholas Hoult as this, like, unbearable dickhead foodie guy getting put in his place by Chef Slowick. Just, it's a very, very good movie. Number 24, we have Saw 2. Saw 2 nails it in both the John Kramer storyline and the game storyline. We got John Kramer and Donnie Wahlberg kind of going back and forth. Donnie Wahlberg sort of getting fed up with Jigsaw's shit because he's like, I just want my son, man. What the hell is your problem? I think it might be one of the more consistent Saw movies where it's like simple, but there's enough going on with an obvious Saw twist at the end of it, and I think it nails what it tries to do. Number 23, we have 13 Ghosts. Now, this movie, kind of like a Freddy versus Jason type of situation where it's not the best movie, but I really enjoy it personally. Tony Shalhoub and Matthew Lillard are in it, and they're two of my favorite actors. They kill it in this movie. The look of the house with all the glass walls and the writing, really cool. The designs of all the ghosts, really cool. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have it this high in the top 100 horror movies. Probably not even in the top 100, but for me, I like it a lot. Number 22, we got Annabelle Creation, my favorite Annabelle movie. It has some of my favorite scares in the whole entire Conjuring universe. The backstory for Annabelle really works for me. Some of the deaths in this movie are very brutal, but also still kind of tame, where you don't see anything too crazy. But there's a lot of creepiness to it, and that's why it's my favorite Annabelle movie. Number 21, we have The Bay. It's like a mockumentary found footage style movie. I put it on randomly around like 3 a.m. and it really got to me. The movie feels so real.
Oh my God! What the hell? What are you doing? They're all dying. No, do not die. Oh my God, it's coming out of your body!
Parasites in the water that are like getting into people and fucking them up and killing them. All like the gross rash type infection looks on all the people and all their body parts. It's so weird. I don't know, man. Something about this movie just really stuck with me. Number 20, we have Friday the 13th, 2009. This reboot / remake of Friday the 13th is really good. It takes a lot of the first 4 Friday movies, gels them together. I wouldn't say perfects them, but it sort of does. This is my favorite version of Jason Voorhees, where he's all business. He is setting up traps. He is throwing axes like Hunters from Dead by Daylight. He is nailing fools. It's just really good. Number 19, we have Saw 6. Probably my favorite Saw movie. There is kind of a lot going on, but I like everything that's going on. Mark Hoffman is back. I love Mark Hoffman. He's kicking some major ass, trying to keep the secret of him being the new Jigsaw Killer, like, you know, under wraps. We have the healthcare guy going through his game. Some of the traps are, like, kind of middle of the road, but we got the merry-go-round trap, which is freaking awesome, iconic.
Jesus Christ! Please, please! Mr. Easton, follow the policy! Follow the policy!
It's a pretty good Saw movie. I don't think I could find very many complaints I have about it. Number 18, we have Scream 2022, Scream 5. Part of the reason it's so high on the list is because of nostalgia. We get Dewey, Gale, and Sydney back together again, but the movie does a great job of not just making it about them. We get the new cast of characters, and they're featured enough to where they're like established, especially, you know, like Sam and Tara. I do like the killer reveal. It comes out of nowhere. The motive, you know, it's fine, but it works enough for me to where I could say Scream 5 is a very good Scream movie. Number 17, we got another Scream movie. We got Scream 6. This time we got Ghostface in the big city, and now we really get to focus on the main characters. We got the core 4, but we also get a dash of Courtney Cox in there, which I love her.
Hello.
Hello, Gail. Strange that you and I have never spoken on the phone. This is long overdue.
I agree.
We stand a queen. The core 4 have really good chemistry together, and seeing Ghostface run around with like a shotgun in a bodega, and also just seeing Ghostface in a different environment is still really cool.
Wait! No!
The only thing that drags it down a tiny bit is the reveal, where it's not terrible by any means, and there's 3 Ghostface instead of 2 or 1, but it's still kind of, I don't know, I wasn't too hot on the reveal, even though it's not bad. This movie is still very good. Number 16, we got Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, baby. Nancy is back, and we get a whole new group of teens ready to fight off Freddy Krueger. It has a lot of, like, the more popular Freddy Krueger, like, lines and references, or whatever you want to call them.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Fuck the prime time, bitch.
Although the dream power stuff is a bit silly in my opinion, it's a Nightmare on Elm Street, it can get worse, so I know it doesn't affect my opinion on the movie too much. I love it. Dream Warriors for a time was my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Number 15, we got Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. This one, being the 6th movie in the franchise, really has everything from the Friday series that you want. A touch of goofiness with the paintball stuff, zombie Jason being like unkillable, killing machine, just all around likable characters. I think it is my favorite and the best Friday the 13th movie. Number 14, we got Shaun of the Dead. Not much to really say here. It's just a really, really good, really, really funny horror comedy. It's a good time.
In all cases,
Number 13, we got Scream 4. I enjoy the gang meeting up again after some years have passed. You know, we got some new characters like Jill and Kirby. They're really cool. There's a lot of film bro stuff in this that I don't really care too much for, but it doesn't bother me that much. The killer reveal and motive, I think, is tied for the best in the franchise. Number 12, we got Cloverfield. I said Blair Witch, most iconic found footage. I stand by that, but this, Cloverfield, my favorite found footage horror movie. Group of friends running around New York while a giant monster is fucking up the place. It's awesome. A lot of creepy monsters rolling around. It's a very wild found footage movie. Number 11, we got Evil Dead 2. It has a nice blend of comedy and horror. Ash losing his mind while trapped in the cabin is really great stuff. It's just the perfect blend of silliness, but also some like horrifying like blood and some practical effects and whatnot. Really enjoyable. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the top 10, and at number 10, we have The Mist. The Mist holds a special place in my heart because I believe it was the first horror movie I ever saw. It took me a couple watches to, to get through it because I was young and scared. And as I've gotten older, as like I've watched it a couple more times over the years, I appreciate it more and more. That tentacle scene in the back room, like in the warehouse area of the supermarket, that really stuck with me as a kid. It carries an eerie feeling throughout the whole movie. I think it nails the tone it tries to go for. The ending is, of course, sad, but I sort of dig movies that have like a fuck you kind of ending. Number 9, we have Freaky. Vince Vaughn, Catherine Newton. They do such a damn good job in this movie. Vince Vaughn acting like a teenage girl. I could praise his performance all day. He's so fun. Same can be said for Catherine Newton, acting like a serial killer in a teenager's body, getting some very creative kills. The whole cast nails it, and this is just a joy to watch. Number 8, we have Evil Dead 2013. This might be a stretch, but I've said this about this movie for like a couple of years now. This is like the ideal horror movie experience. You got a lot of blood, you got a lot of creepy scenes, you got like, your typical group of friends doing something and killing happens. Wow. You got some possessions. It's just really good, really gory. It's just a blast. I think everything is done so well. It's hard to find really good remakes, but Evil Dead 2013 fucking nails it. Number 7, we have The Conjuring 2, my favorite Conjuring universe movie. The little British family, the Warrens, have the help. They're so wonderful, and I just want them to be safe and happy. Also, the Warrens, again, bringing them up again, ring that bell. I love them. Ed Warren pulling out the guitar and playing something for the little family and Lorraine. Very sweet, very wholesome. And then we get my boy, the Crooked Man. I love that dude. He looks super interesting. And just, I don't know, I need them to make the Crooked Man movie, please. I know they kind of scrapped it, but you gotta do it for me, for my sanity. Conjuring 2 has a good mix of scares, wholesomeness, characters, you can root for. It's just a wonderful movie. Number 6, we have Barbarian. I threw this movie on not knowing a single thing about it. I was hooked. We have Georgina Campbell and Bill Skarsgård opening, and you think the movie is kind of headed towards a certain route, but then it really changes up. Then it really changes up again by going to Justin Long's story, but it connects to the beginning and the setting they're at. Kind of shot differently than a lot of horror movies, and it works really well. The secrets that the Airbnb house holds underneath is really cool and really freaky. I love the look of the creature that we see in this movie. I get so much joy from watching this movie, and I'm so glad I stumbled upon it on HBO, and I just decided to throw it on. I'm so glad. It was one of the best decisions I could have ever made. Number 5, we got Zombieland. Zombieland is such a good time. Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, that duo before they meet Wichita and Little Rock. This is the best zombie movie out there.
You got a purty mouth.
I don't care. I'm probably going to get some shit for that, but I stand by it. Fun zombies, but they're still dangerous. Characters and survivors are fun. And I'm going to be real here, the ending made me tear up a little bit. I watched it a couple days ago. I nearly shed a tear. The ending was so perfect. At number 4, we have It 2017, the cast of kids. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. The opening scene with Georgie and Pennywise in the sewer. Everything in this movie works damn near perfect. It 2017 is what kicked off my love for horror, seeing this in theaters, and then when it came out on DVD, I shit you not, I sat down crisscross applesauce on my carpet, put that sucker on, and I watched it 3 times. I'm not even exaggerating. I watched it 3 times. I loved it. Even if it didn't have like sentimental value to me, it's just so damn good. Number 3, we have Malignant. James Wan created a masterpiece with this one, baby. This movie slaps. It is so fun. The look of it is pretty cool. The action shots that we do get are shot very nice with like overhead over the house. It's like you're looking at a dollhouse kind of thing, if that makes any sense. It looks really nice. A woman is seeing visions or dreams of like murders happening, but spoiler, I never spoil Malignant unless it's in my review and recap video that I did. I'm gonna explain the huge twist and why I love this movie. Turns out this lady is the one doing the murders, but not really. It's her little tumor, cancerous, whatever the fuck brother, Gabriel, who we see in a little video. They had to get rid of him, and he was wiggling and squirming on the back of her head. What a fucking reveal. I like nearly fell out of my damn chair. It's so silly, kind of dumb, but at the same time, it's like, wow, what the hell am I watching? It's amazing. Gabriel's voice is menacing and badass. It's just a mind-blowing movie, and if you think, oh, it's not worth the hype, then I guess we're just different people, and that's okay, but also be quiet. You can't tell me when you saw that you were like, wow, that's stupid. You were flabbergasted. Number 2, we have A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is my favorite horror movie villain. A Nightmare on Elm Street is nearly perfect. Not talking about the franchise, just talking about this first movie. It kicks off a franchise that I do still really enjoy regardless of how silly the other movies can be. Freddy Krueger himself is far from being in his overly comedic era.
This is God.
Heather Langenkamp is great as Nancy. Nancy is my favorite final girl.
Where's your pass? Screw your pass.
And just this movie is just what I want out of a nice horror movie. I would say this movie is nearly perfect, man. And at number 1, we have Scream, the first Scream movie. It's a slasher classic. Honestly, I said Nightmare on Elm Street is nearly perfect. Scream is pretty much perfect. It's a horror movie that talks about horror movies. There are some funny moments.
Never alone.
Some really tense moments. I love my slasher movies. It's one of my favorite like subgenres of horror. And this, to me, is one of the best ones, if not the best one. The cast is great. You got Matthew Lillard, you got Neve Campbell, you got Courtney Cox, you got David Arquette. Hell, even Henry Winkler's there. I love all the characters. You also got the opening scene, which, holy crap, what a cold open. What's your favorite scary movie?
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Chasing Drew Barrymore outside, and then her parents find her in the tree. What a fucking amazing opener. Scream is very, very good. The franchise is very, very good. There's like a couple little lows, but other than that, it's like nearly the most consistent, most fucking amazing horror franchise. Ghostface is an iconic killer. The mask, the robe, the reveal at the end of this movie of who's doing all the killing is just also another iconic scene. Hit me with the phone, Dick.
Hit me with the phone, Dick!
It's just everything about this movie hits, man. I think it's a perfect slasher movie and a perfect horror movie in general, and hell, perfect movie in general. It's so damn good.
A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
And there you go, my top 100 horror movies from 100 to 1. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your favorite horror movies in the comments, your top 100, your top 50, your top 25, whatever you want to put. If there's a movie on this list you haven't seen, but now you kind of want to check out because I was like, wow, this movie's really good, then let me know which one it's going to be and, you know, tell me what you thought of it if you do end up watching it. Thank you for watching. This is probably a long one. I'm sorry about that, but I'll see you in the next video. I don't know what it'll be, but whatever. Goodbye.